Hello everyone, welcome to today's show. My name is Spencer Walsh. Thank you so much for joining us here today. We got a good one for you. Thank you so much for joining us again. We got a lot of stuff to get to. And today, will Democrats who voted for Gorsuch save Kavanaugh? We'll take a look at Heidi Heitkamp, Joe Manchin. We are watching you. Talking about Democrats, they have no reason, some of them, to support Brett Kavanaugh. Why would they? Lawyer Michael Avenatti is back in the news again. No surprise, he's apparently representing a third Kavanaugh accuser. We're talking about him. Trump is on the attack against Deborah Ramirez. Brett Kavanaugh's roommate says they're not so sure. Brett Kavanaugh's roommate says he's not so sure of his innocence anymore. Also, we're going to talk about literally the entire UN laughing at Donald Trump. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So, yeah, we do have a good show for you today. A lot of stuff to get into. Today going 6:15 to 7:45 in the morning. And yeah, so thank you so much for joining us here today. So Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh's confirmation is starting to look like it might be in jeopardy for the first time in what seems like this entire process. Republicans have the clear Senate majority, and Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell has indicated that his plan is to get Kavanaugh on the Supreme Court and pretty much get a majority conservative Supreme Court with something that these people have been eyeing, have been salivating about, and have been planning for 60 some odd years. And the fact that they chose this guy with all this type of baggage and all this, all these issues, all this disturbing past, when there's literally about 100 dudes that they could pick from, including women. You could also go with a woman here. You could also withdrawn Kavanaugh as the nominee and put in some kind of woman after this whole sexual assault allegations came out. But no, they still decided to stick with him, which is a little bit crazy to me because it just seems like it's just so much extra stuff to deal with, and I just don't get why you would want to do that. But still. Yeah, they're really trying, they're really pushing to get through with this, and we'll see how that goes, but it's going to be very tough. When Kavanaugh accuser Christine Blasey Ford testifies before the Senate Judiciary Committee, that's going to be happening on Thursday, I believe, but the comments of fewer Republicans on the fence, like Senator Lisa Murkowski, have raised some doubts on whether or not McConnell will have the votes to run through Kavanaugh's nomination. So people like Lisa Murkowski are raising eyebrows here. So Manu Raju just says, I asked Senator Lisa Murkowski, key GOP swing vote, if there should be a full FBI investigation into allegations from Kavanaugh's past, saying, quote, it would clear up all the questions, wouldn't it? And I mean, that's something to raise your eyes on. Yeah, less clear were the three Senate Democrats who voted for Trump's last Supreme Court nominee, Neil Gorsuch, Senators Joe Manchin of West Virginia, Heidi Heitkamp, and Joe Donnelly of Indiana. So, which is pretty crazy. So, Joe Donnelly, Heidi Heitkamp, and Joe Manchin were less committal, made less of a decisive comment. And by the way, keep in mind that comment wasn't very decisive there from Lisa Murkowski. But you got three Democrats who are coming out and saying, yeah, you know what? I don't know. I think we're going to have to call for investigation here. What? I'm sorry. No, doesn't make any sense. So, yeah, all three have voted for Trump more than half the time, the most among Senate Democrats, these three, Manchin, Heitkamp, and Donnelly. And all are locked in tight midterm fights in states that went for Trump by at least double digits. Thus far, none of the three have indicated where exactly they're going to fall if and when Kavanaugh comes up for a vote, although they have called for postponing vote until after Christine Blasey Ford's testimony on Thursday, so it's very bold. Here's another one. Alabama Senator Doug Jones, who was elected after Gorsuch's was already on the bench, is often discussed as another possible Democratic vote for Kavanaugh, but he has been more vocal than the other three on the situation. So, yeah. Laura Litvin, who's a reporter there on Twitter, says, the four Senate Democrats seen as possible Brett Kavanaugh yes votes, Joe Manchin, Heidi Heitkamp, Joe Donnelly, and Doug Jones, all want to pause on the confirmation until the judge and his accuser can be heard. So, that's not saying too much, but Joe Manchin also tweeted, Professor Christine Blasey Ford deserves a chance to be heard, and Judge Kavanaugh deserves a chance to clear his name. Both have said they are willing to testify before the Senate Judiciary Committee, and I hope they will be given the opportunity to do so as quickly as possible. Yeah, and people, like, the first tweet is like, clear his name. Like, the first reply tweet from someone named Debbie, and by the way, I agree with her there. Clear his name. So you want him to do that? He's already allowed to the committee. Seriously, Joe, clear his name. Yeah, so same, girl. Same. One theory, though, is that Donnelly, Heitkamp, Manchin, and other Democrats are giving milquetoast responses like this in order to create the perception they're open-minded towards Kavanaugh and the allegations against him. But it's clear now that out of those people, which is kind of insane, out of all the people who are here, and they have, out of all the people in the Senate, Democrats are going to be the ones that the Democratic caucus has to worry most about voting against their ideas. It's becoming pretty insane. Yeah, what's more likely is the Senator's reluctance to come out against Kavanaugh is driven by political concerns. Conventional wisdom holds that in an election year, red state Democrats who want to keep their seats can't take such a position like this against a president who won their state 2 years ago. Red state Democrats don't want any local media story coming out and saying, oh, is he becoming closer to Chuck Schumer? Who knows? Michigan State political science professor said, by the name Matt Grossman said that last year. But I do kind of get what they're saying, but I just think it's like really just a dumb concern because A, Kavanaugh is incredibly unpopular, and the majority of the country, B, supports Christine Blasey Ford and absolutely hates the Republicans. And I mean, you got to assume some of that flows over into these people's states. So yeah, I mean, that's at least what we can hope. So, yeah. So, to start, Kavanaugh really never has been a popular nominee, as I just mentioned. So, let's get into some of the numbers on that. So, 40% of those polled wanted Kavanaugh seated, along with 36% opposed. Just 40% polled! Oh my gosh. Yeah, Kavanaugh joined Harriet Mears and Robert Bork as the only one for which the average margin in favor of confirming was less than 10 points. Kavanaugh support has plummeted even further since then. A Fox News poll released this week showed that 50% of the public opposes confirmation, while 40% support it, which is pretty much an unprecedented lack of support, especially after these allegations that have come out. What's more, a recent Kaiser tracking poll found that the issues like corruption, healthcare, and immigration and jobs all ranked as the most important issue to voters in the Supreme Court nominee. And a C-SPAN poll last month showed that over half the country couldn't name a Supreme Court justice, which is, I mean, a little bit unfortunate, but it gives you the idea that a lot of the country just doesn't care. Like, a lot of the country does not care about this fight, and they're probably not following it as much as some of us all are. And, I mean, I do try to, break away from Kavanaugh, but it is, in the end, it's not like a Washington fight, if you know what I mean. It's a very serious situation, because what you're talking about here is just the entire, literally the whole time is who's going to decide policy for the next 30 years. Do we want it to be someone who's a slovenly drunk, who could be slovenly drunk even at this age, and who possibly attempted to rape someone and had a whole history of 3 now sexual assault accusers and harassment accusers, sexual assault / harassment accusers, I should say? Or do we want it to be a liberal? It's that simple. I think everyone every liberal wants it to be liberal. If a conservative can't seem to pick a nominee who's normal for it to be conservative. Anyway, yeah, so that's pretty much what's going on there. So even if Kavanaugh was an historically unpopular nominee facing multiple allegations of sexual assault and harassment, and even if the Supreme Court was the electoral litmus test senators seem to think it is, there would be no reason for elected officials to identify as Democrats to support their nomination. Kavanaugh has consistently sided with corporations against workers, something that the senators who are in question here claim a lot to do. They actually claim that one of the things you can go out there and tell your district in an explanation of sorts, because like this is the thing I absolutely hate about these type of senators. Like they let the political narrative define them, and they don't try to counter it back in any way. They don't try to explain themselves. They don't try to explain their actions. They just say, well, I mean, I care. I really care about you guys, but like I just had to do this. But I'm sorry, I don't want to be portrayed as this way. I'm so sorry. Don't kill me. Don't throw me out of office. Like, no. Like, you could do better. Way better than that. So you can come out, you can define the narrative, say that a lot of people just don't care about this nominee, and he's historically unpopular in the first place, and West Virginia doesn't like him, probably North Dakota. I don't know. I think one of them's from North Dakota. Heidi Heitkamp's from North Dakota, and Joe Donnelly's in Indiana. So yeah, it's just not a big deal. He's facing allegations of, like, how is this going to? What are you going to focus on? Sexual assault allegations or your political career? Like, weigh those and make a decision here. And the fact that it just says so much about the state of the Democratic Party today. That what the Democratic Party has to worry about most in confirming or stopping the confirmation of a Supreme Court nominee who's been accused of sexual assault, the fact that they have to worry most about the fact that they have to worry the most about the Democrats is just a little bit disturbing, to say the least. So yeah, it's true that even if Democrats band together and vote as a bloc against Kavanaugh, they may not be able to sink his nomination, but at the very least, they can make Kavanaugh's path to confirmation a little harder, and their reluctance to do so should be a wake-up call to anyone who believes they'll find the courage to find their courage once they get out of an election year. And above all, I wouldn't vote for someone credibly accused of sexual assault should be the most basic, obvious litmus test for any Democrat or anyone or any politician ever, or any real person. Like, you don't vote your support for someone who's accused of sexual assault and there's been no allegation. Like, it's not your fault there's been no allegation, but I mean, hey, come on, we have to really look at this stuff here. Like, let's be real. All right, we're going to turn tides. And by the way, if you just so possibly happen to be listening to me in Indiana, North Dakota, or West Virginia, get on the phone, call your senator, and say, please do not support this guy. Please do not support him. Give him all the reasons why that I just mentioned, or some of your own personal reasons, maybe. Maybe you don't want him to repeal Roe v. Wade. Somebody else said that. Anyway, we turn our attention to the bald, creepy porn lawyer, my man, Michael Avenatti, the lawyer who's skyrocketing in fame representing Stormy Daniels and the fame to toy with a possible presidential campaign. Now he says he has at least one client ready. Maybe it could mean two. Ooh. At least one client ready to come forward to make additional allegations against Brett Kavanaugh any day now. So yeah, representing survivors who want to share their stories is good in itself, but Avenatti's remarks about the timetable for his clients to come forward and his teasing their accounts of sexual violence like it's a primetime special aren't helping anyone. And I think that's a very important point to realize. And just because it's Michael Avenatti, like, you can't be like tweeting out #pasta new sexual assault allegations tonight at 8. What? Yeah, it's a little bit disturbing ethically to think about. So yeah, in a Monday night appearance with CNN, Avenatti told Cuomo, "At this point, Chris, it's clients. We're about to make a public disclosure within the next 48 hours of detailed allegations. How about you save it till then? How about you don't, like, keep dropping little tidbits on people? Like, hey, there's an email here, there's an email there. Like, what? No. This comes all after Avenatti tweeted a letter he sent Sunday evening to Chief Counsel of the Senate Judiciary Committee, claiming he was in touch with multiple witnesses who had accused Kavanaugh, his friend Mark Judge, and others of being involved in drunken gang rapes of women at parties. Avenatti locked his Twitter account early Tuesday morning, which is a little strange. He says, my email moments ago with Mike Davis, Chief Counsel of Nominations for the U.S. Senate Committee on the Judiciary. And he asked him all these questions about, like, just horrific stuff that Kavanaugh and Judge are accused of doing.